p.m. Live stream on IRI FM and JTVR on YouTube, IRI FM on Facebook, plus live intermittent broadcast on IRI FM radio. Featuring Benjamin Zephaniah, Yasus Afari, Professor Rupert Lewis, Stephen Wise, Kabumat Karu, Dr. Charmaine Gooden-Monteith, Leighton Smith, Mark Stevenson, Martin Matthews, Mick, Style Jamaica, and more. Sponsors, IRI FM, JTB, JTVR, TEF, MCGES, Fontana, and VW Investments. Poetry in Motion 2021, Sunday, February 28th, 3 p.m. Clean, intelligent fun for the entire family. Be there!
Welcome to another special super episode of Real Talk with Ian and Ian. A pleasant good afternoon to all the fans, the friends, the family all over the world, especially in Jamaica. We know that a lot of our viewers are going to tune in tonight from the beautiful island, the country of Jamaica, to hear about this excited program that we have tonight. I know you guys have heard about the legend, Mr. Yasus Afari, from the beautiful institution of St. Elizabeth Technical High School and from St. Elizabeth, and also featuring Mr. Stephen Wise, the musician. So before you hear any further word, I'm going to hand you over to the other St. Elizabeth man, the health and wellness specialist, straight from the south side, Mr. Ian Thomas. Introduce yourself, sir.
All right. So by now, everybody should know me by now. The cricketer, statesman, Real Talk, Ian and Ian. All right, so this afternoon, we just want to say welcome again to all of our viewers who are watching from around the world. As we have realized, we have been reaching near and far. And this afternoon, as you can see, we have two top icons in their own class on with us tonight. Mr. Stephen Wise and Yasus Afari, who have been here on the platform before, but you wonder why we bring him back this quick. Guess what, guys? The 18th annual Poetry in Motion is just around the corner. Yasus, February 28th, right?
Yes, the 28th, that's Sunday, the 28th of February. And for people to remember it easily, it's the last Sunday in February. And it's the 18th annual staging of Poetry in Motion, making it the longest running and most successful annual poetry event in the history of Jamaica. So we have the bragging rights, even though we're not bragging, but we are honored to be able to have sustained the presence of poetry. And we want to salute Amanda Garman. Today she's on the Super Bowl. She is the face of poetry globally. So it's also an honor to be strengthening poetry on that same day as well. And interestingly, I want to share something with you. Amiri Baraka. I don't know if you're familiar with that name. He's a poet. Steve, you might be familiar with Amiri Baraka.
Yes.
About a decade ago, Amiri Baraka willed, listen carefully now, Amiri Baraka willed his spirit to the black poets and black poetry of the world. And right away, I realized that it was a spiritual fertilizer, fertilizing black poetry and black poets globally. So I did an interview on JIS at Jamaica Poetry Festival 2011, where I said, we are now entering into the decade of poetry, and poetry will be the new frontier. Now, last year, Spotify declared that poetry is the new frontier, and they will start stream live poetry, which grew by 30% in 2020, and the global sales of poetry increased by 18 to 20% between 2018 to 2019. And with the advent of Amanda Garman, and with the Super Bowl appearance and gracing the cover of every magazine and stealing the inauguration on January 6th, we know that poetry is set to increase by 50 to 60% in 2021. And we are happy to be supporting the global poetry movement with Poetry in Motion, our 18th annual staging, Sunday, February 28th, live and direct from Mandeville, Jamaica.
All right, Yasus. So here we have it from Yasus. But as you know, we know you bring on Mr. Stephen Wise, and nobody would have known him more than you probably, because you guys have worked together. So want you to just give us a quick overview on Steve. Now we just let Steve hold the mic, you know.
Right. Here what happened now. There's a lady called Laloranda Robinson. She has been at Poetry in Motion from our inaugural stage in 2004, actually. And she introduced me to Stephen, knowing his quality, his international accomplishment, his standards, and she recognizing our aspirations and our accomplishment in that regard. So she think it was a natural fit, and it was only verified and confirmed when we were finally introduced. And so we are happy to be presenting for the first time at Poetry in Motion, the one and only Stephen Wise, who has, he'll tell you that for himself, but I preempt him by saying, just like his first name, he has worked with Stevie Wonder, the musical wonder of the planet, and his music speaks for itself. And you can hear a bit more tonight, and certainly all virtual roads lead to Poetry in Motion on the 28th of February, when you'll see him in full stride and then proper display. And so we are honored to present here on Real Talk Ian and Ian, Stephen Wise.
Sir Stephen, welcome to the platform.
Yes, give thanks. I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to be a part of such an illustrious cast of poets and wise folk. You know, I bear the name Wise, and I don't bear that name to be braggadocious. It's the name I was born with, and it's something that I strive for in my life, is that wisdom, you know, wisdom to understand what my purpose is, and to teach my children what their purpose is, or to teach them to find their purpose, you know? So yes, I'm honored to be part of this. Even though I'm a musician, first and foremost, I am also a songwriter, which makes me a poet. You know, I have not done poetry in the traditional sense of poetry, with the cadences of poets standing there and just giving the amazing prose, but in an absolute sense, because music is poetry in motion as well. And my lyrics, my lyrical content is poetry set to music. So yes, it's an honor, and I've been waiting for somebody to recognize that. And Yasus Afari, with his deep insight, was able to acknowledge it right away and see it right away and hear it with his third eye, or his first eye, I should say, his first eye. And so yes, I'm honored to be here.
All right, well said. So Stephen, Yasus, welcome to the program. We're so happy. We're really excited. It's an honor to really have the privilege to sit down with you know, on another episode with, you know, we see you as, and Yasus as our bigger brother. So, you know, we're just happy to just sit down with our brothers and just, you know. So Yasus, as usual, you know, we're gonna go back now. I just wanna talk a little history about the Poetry in Motion. Just tell us about the vision and the name. Actually, just tell us about the name. When did you actually come up with the name Poetry in Motion? When did you get the vision, and, you know, what was the mindset? What were you doing when this thing come to you and say, look, this is the name that I'm gonna use to you know, to put more poetry out and to come up with this great event? So just tell us a little bit about the history of the event. When was the first the first show, and so on?
Right. I visited Ethiopia in 1996, and I visited Ethiopia on the 29th of February. We were celebrating the bicentenary of the Battle of Adwa. Adwa was when, thanks to Menelik and Empress Taitu, the Ethiopians defeated a seemingly invincible European force, namely Italy. And so when I returned to Jamaica, there's a long story to that, but to cut it short, when I returned to Jamaica 8 years after, I got this inspiration to establish a poetry event in Mandeville on the 29th of February, 2004. We got this idea, which is a leap day in a leap year, incidentally. We got this idea in 2003, and I shared it with Val Wint, who is also a Stetsonian. I shared it with Kevin O'Brien Chang, the proprietor of Fontana Pharmacy. They embraced the idea. The idea really, for the name, to be honest, came one time I was watching Courtney Walsh playing cricket, running up to the wicket, and the commentator described him as poetry in motion. I always have an idea and a desire to link sports and arts. And so that kind of culminated that desire right there. And we admire Courtney Walsh's discipline and his ferocity, but like a gentle ferocity, if you could have something like that. And so essentially poetry in motion, I think, aptly described him. And so we wanted to describe what we were doing in similar fashion, where it's not just poetry. If you notice, under the name Poetry in Motion, it's a music, dance, comedy, storytelling, fashion, and poetry. And we see the poetic elements in the entire spectrum of the creative arts, as well as in sports. And we see elements of the entire spectrum in poetry and all the other.
Senyako Medutainment presents Poetry in Motion 2021, the virtual edition, Sunday, February 28th at 3 p.m. Live stream on IRI FM and JTVR on YouTube, IRI FM on Facebook, plus live intermittent broadcast on IRI FM radio. Featuring Benjamin Zephaniah, Yasus Afari, Professor Rupert Lewis, Stephen Wise, Kabu Ma'at Carew, Dr. Charmaine Gooden-Monteith, Leighton Smith, Mark Stevenson, Martin Matthews, Mick, Style Jamaica, and more. Sponsors, IRI FM, JTB, JTVR, TEF, MCGES, Fontana, and VW Investments. Poetry in Motion 2021, Sunday, February 28th, 3 p.m. Clean, intelligent fun for the entire family. Be there! Senyako Medutainment presents Poetry in Motion 2021, the virtual edition, Sunday, February 28th at 3 p.m. Live stream on IRI FM and JTVR on YouTube, IRI FM on Facebook, plus live intermittent broadcast on IRI FM radio. Featuring Benjamin Zephaniah, Yasus Afari, Professor Rupert Lewis, Stephen Wise, Kabu Ma'at Carew, Dr. Charmaine Gooden-Monteith, Leighton Smith, Mark Stevenson, Martin Matthews, Mick, Style Jamaica, and more. Sponsors, IRI FM, JTB, JTVR, TEF, MCGES, Fontana, and VW Investments. Poetry in Motion 2021, Sunday, February 28th, 3 p.m. Clean, intelligent fun for the entire family. Be there!